Okay, today's just a review day, and so I was going to do some practice with fraction exponents, and I already did one with my other students. I'll just remind you real quick. If I had this to the to the 3 halves power, you haven't tried one like that before because it has a bigger numerator, but it's still the same idea. Tell me what you think that one comes out to be. You should have memorized this. It's a fairly big answer, but yep, 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 yep. Everybody's getting them right. This is awesome. So that's the roots, square root. That's the cubing, which is take the square root of it, 5. Cube it, 5 to the third, 125. All right. Now the negative, if I had thrown a negative on that same exact problem and it said negative 3 halves, you'd do it in 3 parts. You do the square root, then you'd cube it, and then you would not make it negative. What would that negative do? Flip it. So how do I need to change my answer? 1 over 125. Okay, good. All right, now how about this kind where you cancel stuff? 2a to the second, b to the negative third, over 8a to the negative second, b to the fifth. Remember, numbers go with numbers, letters go with letters. Put all the a's together, figure out where they are, and how many there are. Put all the b's together. And if it's like, 6 left and they're on the bottom, well then, great. Just don't leave any b's on the top and the bottom. You got to put them either on the top or the bottom, wherever they end up. And then, of course, the fraction, just keep it as simple as reduce that fraction. Your answer, of course, will be a fraction. All right. I think your b might be wrong. It might be the first time you've had one wrong, so I'm not sure. Let me double check. Oh, I see what you did. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Nope, there's something wrong with your A's. Your B's are messed up. You're right. Your A's are messed up. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's the point. There should be. Because there should be. Yes. 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 Your A's disappeared and they shouldn't have. Something went wrong. Can you turn your brightness up a little bit? Because I can't see yours. You want to borrow a charger? Slide against the back wall. There's a outlet back there. Come up and leave me some collateral. There you go. Okay. Should have 2 goes in here once, 2 goes in here 4 times. Obviously, there's a 1 and a 4 in it. Then the A's. These A's are not happy where they are. They go up and join these guys and have a big A party in the upstairs. A to the 4th. Then these guys aren't happy where they are. They go down here and join up with these B's. And we have a total of B to the 8th, and there you go. Do you need the 1 on the top? No. Any questions about that one? Yes. All right, so let's do, I agree, these are kind of tricky, so it's worth practicing. 2a to the, or b to the negative third, no, a to the 5th to the negative third, and then times 2a all over 3b. Mm-hmm. The good part is, there's not a word problem. You don't have to figure out, like what exactly are they talking about in this question. It's just, can you move things around like you're supposed to? I'm going to pause for a second while you figure that out. Okay, here we go. So, this part right here needs to be done first. And do you agree that the negative means that all of the stuff in the parentheses needs to move down to the lower level? So I'm going to rewrite it down there in red. And it's going to be 2a to the 5th to the 3rd. You know what I just did there? All I did is moved it. I did the negative part of that. So I just moved it down. Okay? So now it's down here and it's happy now. It's not negative anymore. So now I need to do my 2 to the 3rd. My 2 to the 3rd is an 8. My a to the 5th to the 3rd is an a to the 15th. And then I rewrite in my other stuff. This and this can go back where they were. 2a on top, 3b on the bottom. So all I did was move this stuff to the bottom and then actually do the powers. 2 to the third and then a to the fifth to the third. All right, so then I'm going to simplify it. Final answer, 1 over 4. And then a cancels off one of those a's on the bottom, so now it's only to the 14th. And then there's a 3b. And then I might as well put the 4 times 3 together and make that 12. And then there's a b. Okay, questions?
I sometimes not thinking right, but is that what you do? Would you multiply 2 to the third and a to the third?
Okay, are you just double checking if, when I did this part, are you just making sure that I did that part right?
Yeah.
Okay. You do use the number. The number does go to the power. And then this, to do this guy, I take his power and multiply it by that power. So I did do that right. It was 8a to the 15th. Yep. I can verify that's the right way to do that. Yes?
I don't get how you got from 2a to over 8a
Okay.
to 1 over 12a. 14.
How about this? What if I had multiplied this 8 times 3 and made it 24? Then do you get that there's like a 2 over a 24? And that simplifies to a 1 over 12. Okay. Thanks for asking. Maybe one more like that before we take the quiz, okay? All right. So let's say I had 4a b to the negative second to the negative second. And then throw in an extra a, and then a b squared on the bottom. There we go. Just take it one step at a time. It's not that bad. Just one step at a time. You make things happy. Yes, sir?
Before we go over the square root.
Yes, I'll talk about square roots before we're done. I'm going to pause for a second while you try this one. All right. Okay, so here's how you do this one. First thought, move all of this down to the basement because it was unhappy based on this. Okay? So I'm going to move it all down there. I'll do it in a different color. And again, if you want to keep yourself organized, you can use different colors on your iPad too. So I'm going to move it down here and go 4ab to the negative second. And now it's all to the second. Because again, all I did was the negative part of that. Okay? Now it's not up here anymore. It's down there. Does that make sense? All I did is move it. Okay, now I got to put everything to the positive 2 power. 4 to the second makes 16. Better start an answer blank here. There's still an a on top from before, and there's still a b squared on the bottom from before. 4 squared is 16. The a has a power of 1 on it that you don't see, but the 1 times 2 makes a squared. And then the b to the negative 2 to the second makes b to the negative 4th. Now that b is not happy where it is. So then it goes up to the top. B to the 4th is up here now. And now it's positive. Now I got rid of all my negative exponents. Now is the simple stuff. All I got to do is cancel, like a b to the 4th here and a b to the 2nd there. So then that leaves a b to the 2nd on the top. I have an a here and an a squared there. That leaves just an a on the bottom. And then my number is 16 and it's on the bottom. B squared over 16a. Who had that one right? Oh, almost everybody. Nice work. Okay. Probably gave you too much practice for this quiz then, but that's okay. So this is not in the 85% category. Yes? Question on this one. Yes? Quiet, please. Yes?
If the a cannot be squared, could you then write it the absolute value of b over 4a?
Oof. No, you don't. Okay, I'm not sure where you're going with this, but what the question was if I made this squared, then would I need to do the absolute value thing? Only time you would ever do the absolute value thing is if you were taking the square root of a variable. Okay, that putting a square root on it is not taking a square root of it. The only time you would do that is like this. it's a squared equals 144 or something, and I take the square root of this by either square root like this or square root like this. Yes, it's great that you remembered that when you take a square root on both sides, including a variable, that you'd have an absolute value. But we're not doing that here at all. So no, we wouldn't do that here. But when you do this kind of a problem, yes, you need a plus minus on your answer, and it would be plus and minus 12 for that little mini example I just did right there. Okay. Now, somebody asked about square roots. Oh, yep. All right, so now we're back talking about the normal one, right? So the question was, why wouldn't the b turn positive? Okay, when we moved the stuff from the upper level to the lower level, we move it exactly as it is. And so, whoa, move it back in there. I was trying to grab this stuff. There we go. Okay, so this green part here is going to move exactly as it is down into the basement. This negative isn't going to move. I know this one's got a negative, and therefore it needs to, be fixed. But we got to do things one thing at a time. And I moved the whole thing to the basement first. If you had wanted to, you could have taken this times this, and it would have been b to the fourth positive. Do you get what I'm saying there? Just let me show you it that way. Okay, there is another way you could have done this. If I had taken this and put them together, do you get that would have been b to the positive fourth? And it would have been on top? That's what I ended up with anyway. See what I mean? But I just moved it to the bottom first with the first negative, and then I had to move it back to the top with the second negative. Okay. All right, so let's do one that's, somebody asked about square roots more. So how about, here's this weird kind of a square root. 4 over 25 to the negative 1/2. Remember, think of it one piece at a time. 1/2 does mean square root. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yep, that's it. 6 people have it right. 7 people did it right. 8. You just have to finish it. I think you're probably right. Just have to know how to handle your fraction over your fraction thing. Yep. Somehow it changed to a 4, but it should be a 2. Yes. Yes. Tilt. Yep. 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 Oh, flipped. Somehow it got flipped. You didn't flip it, is what I should say. I think you just forgot the negative. Yes, yes, yes. And yep, and yep. Okay, so this is in 2 steps. First one being squaring or square rooting both of them. Or you could have flipped them right away, whichever you rather. I personally am going to start with the root, square root, makes the number smaller, easier to handle. 2 over 5, and then it still has a negative on it. A negative 1, really, to kind of hold the place there. And then that means flip it, 5 over 2. Okay, and then the other kind of square root problems you might want to be aware of is if you had something like this. How are you going to fix this? Well, the clump's already alone. You don't have to get the clump alone, but you have to get the x alone, so you have to get that squared off of there. Try it. Yeah, you're going to square it. But some people are going to do it right, and some people are going to do it wrong. Square root could be done like this. That's an option. Or it could be done with the power of 1/2. Power of 1/2. Either way, this equals square root of 16 is 4. And that right there is where a lot of people are going to make their mistakes. They're just going to forget that it's absolute value of x plus 3. Why? Because I just did a square root on both sides. If it's an even root, and I do it to a variable, you need these absolute values. Then that breaks up into 2 identical equations X plus 3 equals 4. X plus 3 equals 4. But that would just be madness. It's the same answer then, right? So this has to be opposite of. Why? Because what's underneath here could either be 4 or negative 4. That's why we make it 4 and negative 4. Okay. So now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I get x equals 4 minus 3 is 1. And x equals negative 7. Did anybody have both of them right? Nice. Okay, I think you're totally ready for this thing then. So I'm going to, that's basically a review lesson for today. The only thing we really didn't talk much, I guess I'll throw in one more review problem. It's about making the bases the same. Do you remember how if we had 2 to the 3x equals 16, that if we could make them have the same base, it would be easy? What can the 16 be written as that would make it better? 2 to the 4th. Because that's the same as 16, right? And then you can say 3x has to equal 4. Do you remember doing those? Can you handle those? All right. One more like that that's a little more complicated. 1 over 4 to the 2x equals 32. Both of them can be written with a 2 as a base. Make them both base 2. I'm going to pause for a second. Let me try that. Okay, on this last one, I hope you saw that and said, I can make it 2 to the something. Most common mistake people make is they don't keep these equal to each other. 2 is not 1/4. I can't make the substitution the way it is. But 2 to the negative makes it flip. 2 is equal to 1/4. So now I've made an equal substitution. That's the same as that. So now I'm okay. And what's the same as 32? 2? No. 2 to the 5th is the same as that. And then this times this equals that. So negative 4x equals 5. So x equals negative 5/4. How many had that one right? Awesome. Okay. I think you guys are in good shape. You guys can hand those quizzes back from the front row there. And we're taking a little practice quiz in class today. And today is just a review day of yesterday. So that's all I have for you.